Right, the algorithm has just gone through and it's finished extracting the different bounds that we've got. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to go in and we need to now just scrub that that output shapex and just ensure that there are no duplicates in terms of suspected shapes. So to do that, we just issue a command called scrub. That goes through and it scrubs the entire shapex variable. And now what we're ready to do is we're ready to actually have a look at that on the map. So at the moment we don't have any particular bounded region selected. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and see what the algorithm reports as bounded regions. So we select that. Right, it goes through and it gives us what it thinks are suspected bounded regions. Notice that the thin lines, these ones here, are regions that the program has not yet selected as bounded regions. There's another step to go through and get those. But for now, we're going to get what the program thinks are the most complex bounded regions. So to do this, we're just going to hide all the lines. Hide. And we're just going to go through sequentially and inspect that, yes, indeed, what's been reported to be a bounded region is indeed one. Okay, so the first one, yes, that's simple, that's the outer line, L0. We've seen that before. Yes, we can confirm that is a bounded region, so we just deselect that. That's quite a basic region. Yes, that too is a bounded region, but you can see this is it sort of encapsulates other smaller bounded regions, but we'll leave that selected for now. We go through. Yes, that's a bounded region. Yes, that's a bounded region. Right, this is the bounded region, but as you can see, it includes other smaller bounded regions like this green line here and that red line over there. We don't really want that. We don't want these exo shapes for this particular type of analysis. What we're really interested in are these sub shapes, sort of the smaller inner shapes. Not too much interested in these exo shapes. So we're going to deselect them for now. But in the case of this particular exo shape, this is quite important because, as you can see, it bounds other areas of white space. And there's a technique that I'll show at a later date where you can actually use this exo shape plus the smaller inner shapes to actually subtract and get this these sort of unbounded white regions, because also they would be important in any kind of analysis of space. Right, so we just go through. Yes, that's a bounded region. Again, that is an exo shape. We don't want that. Yep, that's a nice shape. Again, this is an exo shape, but as you can see, there's lots of white space in between other subspaces, so we're going to leave it selected for now. That's an exo shape, we don't want that. Another exo shape, we don't want that. Right, yes, that's a fundamental shape, so we'll keep that. Another exo shape, exo shape, exo shape, exo shape. Yes, that's quite good. That's another sort of smaller fundamental shape. Again, this one is just a duplicate of the one we've just seen previously, this red line, but with the slight difference that if I zoom in and pan a little bit, you can see that the original one that we've seen was the red line, and then the subsequent one is this. The second one that we find is this sort of outer one. So you've actually just seen that the algorithm has gone through and said, okay, yes, I know that there's this fundamental red shape, but also I can go another route and find a slightly longer perimeter of a similar shape. So we've already found the fundamental shape, so we're going to just deselect that. We'll just go back and zoom out. Let's see what else we've got. Yes, that's a shape. Again, this is another shape, but as you can see, it's gone through and it's selected this sort of the longer perimeter. We don't want that, so we're just going to deselect that for now and see if there are any more sort of fundamental shapes. And yes, no, this is that's an extra shape, because you can see it includes this red shape, plus it's got some of this black shape, so we don't want that. Yes, so we have this space now. can see there are no smaller inner shapes, so that's perfect. We set the view. Right. Okay. Okay. That's an exo shape. That's another exo shape. Right. So we've been able to go through and we've seen the majority of the more complex shapes we've got, but we've still got to go and actually find these smaller shapes, these sort of independent loop lines. And to do that, we have to make a small change. Initially, we talked about this fingerprint, this idea of a particular ID for a shape. Well, there's two input parameters that a fingerprint can take. So if I copy that, and I put that in there. So the first one is when you've got non-duplicates. That's what the ND stands for. If we run that, we get a particular value. And the second one is when you've got duplicates. And that you can see is slightly longer. If you look at this first vector is only 5 lines long. That's when you've got non-duplicate lines. And the second vector is a bit longer. This is when you've got duplicates. And duplicates, what that's telling me is that, for example, I've got the same line incident on the original stem. So in this particular case, this blue line would be a duplicate on this stem line. So that's something that would only be detected if you pass in a particular fingerprint for duplicates. So let's see this working. So go ahead and still see. We reset our shape. Reset the view. And what we're going to do is we're just going to hide what we've seen so far in terms of shapes. So we're going to hide that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back in here and we're going to change the input into the fingerprint to just duplicates. So we save that, and then we issue the command bounds. Right, go and generate the bounds. Right, it's gone and it's done that. And what we want to do now is we actually want to extract the sequential lines. So we issue that call. Right, that's gone through and it's found everything, so we're going to just clear the command line. And what we're ready to do now is just to do that we're just ready to go through and just scrub the shape. And once you've scrubbed the shape, you can go through and try and plot everything. Right.